The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Good afternoon and welcome to PaymentVision's webinar on NACHA rule changes that are to go into effect on March of 2021. Today we have a great webinar prepared for you to go over those rules and your options and opportunities available to help fulfill those rules. What we'll do now is we'll turn it over to Rob and Lori, but before we get started, just a couple quick housekeeping notes. What you'll notice when you logged into the webinar on the right-hand navigation panel, there's a spot for questions. If at any time during the presentation you have a question that arises, please start to fill those in there, and I will send those over to the presenters to have them answered as they come in. You can send them privately to me, Ryan Clark, or you can send them to all for all participants to be able to see. Either way, fill out the questions as they arise, and we'll make sure we get them answered during the call or follow up appropriately after the webinar. Without further ado, let me do a quick intro and then they'll go into more detail, but we have Rob Mangarelli, our Vice President of Sales, and Lori Nelson, our Chief Compliance Officer. Together, these two have probably over 40 years of payment experience, 20 or so between the both of them. So they're experts in the field and will be able to help you significantly in understanding NACHA rule changes and how it affects our ACH network. With that, let me turn it over to you guys.
Hey, yes, I'd like to say first, thank you for joining us today. As Ryan's mentioned, we've been in this space for quite a long time. Collectively, I've worked as in-house general counsel for financial institutions now for going on 14 years. I've been here with AutoScribe going on 6 years, and it's something that it intrigues me, and I want to make sure that everybody is compliant as they can be, and allowing my insight kind of with our PaymentVision products helps you guys be compliant as well.
Hello, I'm Rob Mangarelli, Vice President of Sales. I've been with PaymentVision 3.5 years. I've been in the merchant service industry space for over 20 years, and look forward to speaking with you all this afternoon. Thank you for joining. So first, let's hit on the agenda. First, we'll talk a little bit about PaymentVision, what the NACHA rule change is, some compliance options, the solutions PaymentVision has to offer, and then a Q&A session to end it off. So a little bit about PaymentVision. Our mission statement is to build lasting relationships through trust while providing customized, compliant, and secure financial technology solutions. We're making better products, providing better service, and are more passionate about what we do than anyone else in this industry. A little bit about PaymentVision. We were founded in 1989. PaymentVision is a division of AutoScribe Corporation. We have another division, Lions, but more specifically, PaymentVision offers clients the ability to accept ACH, check, credit, debit card payments through their own call center, automated phone systems, online, mobile options, text, or through an integrated API. Some of our accomplishments highlighted below. Again, mentioned in 1989, we were formed. We were the first to release check by phone. We awarded our first patent then after that. We released an online and IVR system in 2005, followed by the PaymentVision portal. Then we released our own API. We became PCI compliant right around 2010. We achieved the SSA E16 designation and hit 2 billion transactions. In 2015, we're ranked in the Inc. 5000, as well as we are in 2020. In 2018, we launched a mobile application. Then we were awarded our 9th patent last year. And then earlier this year, we released Pay by Text. PaymentVision delivers better product service, as mentioned before. We also will mention again that we have over 2 billion in transactions processed annually. We have 30 years of industry-leading experience. Our systems are available 99.99% of the time. Our client retention rate is at 99.5%, something we're very proud of because of our customer service. And also, we've been awarded a portfolio of 9 different technology patents. so far.
Okay, and this brings us to why we're here today and why we have those statistics. PaymentVision delivers all of its services in a way that incorporates things such as the rule change we're talking about today. So when we say rule change too, it is not necessarily that we're looking at a new rule, but what we're looking at is a different interpretation or added detail on a rule that's already currently in place. So as of today, that rule requires all merchants who accept ACH have commercially reasonable processes that validate routing numbers and a customer's identity. Now, effective March 19, 2021, the commercial reasonable method has been further defined to, at minimum, include account validation. So, as I said, this is not a new rule, and this added defined element of it isn't new either. This is actually based on the feedback that NACHA got when they went out on the field. Going back as far as 2012, when a survey was conducted, the major issue or risk that the ACH world saw was we need to understand more about validation. We need to make sure that we that this account information is good. 2015, they went ahead again and did another survey among the group saying, you know what, we really should require account validation. So this is coming from the people that are actually processing. And then that said, all of that put together, this should not be a surprise. I mean, this is something that's been in the works for some time. And this is actually in result of your feedback, of the merchants' feedbacks themselves. So there's a lot of benefits. Reducing the number of fraudulent entries, fraud detection, the potential impact of fraud events spread by social media, as especially in today's COVID world, we're online. Online really impacts our fraud risk because it greatly increases that risk because you don't have that face-to-face interaction with people. I mean, you're looking at a computer screen. It's much harder to identify and validate people's identity. Now, the big impact to this is that some people may actually have to retool their entire system to get there. Now, this has actually been taken into consideration per the reason that we're looking at this rule effective date as in March 2021. Previously, it should, based on the first rule date, this would have been in place earlier this year. And then it pushed it out a little bit further and then a little bit further just for this reason, because if there's retooling that needs to be done in your system to accommodate it, they wanted to make sure everybody had that time. So I said account verification. So what is it? What is account verification? We know we have to do it. So this goes beyond the basic routing number check that we do today, and it goes to actually the standing of a particular account. Now, while NACHA doesn't have a preference on what method we use, they do provide some examples of what may be commercially reasonable. We'll go over those next. So the first one we'll talk about is MicroDeposits. So this is when accounts, I'm sure everybody's kind of registered for something where they'll put in, I think Venmo actually incorporates this in their registration, where they'll send a couple cents to your bank account and you actually go back to that merchant and say, I received a 56-cent deposit and a 56-cent debit or et cetera. It's great. It definitely validates that account's in good standing. However, you're looking at 2 to 3 days to complete that. You're also relying on customers to get back to you. So while this is an example of something that could accommodate this role with our clients and our industries that we work in, I don't see this as a reasonable solution. So pre-notification. Now this is, again, something I'm sure you guys are all familiar with. You send a 0 transaction to the ACH network to validate the account. Confirmation is received in 2 to 3 days. There has been talk that they'll change that maybe to same-day communications, but that's also going to be reliant too on RFIs, who would be the one providing that information to send it back. So that's also dependent on that. And while it doesn't include a dependency on the customer, as the rules read today, you're looking at 3 days before you can actually go and find out if the account is in good standing. So again, I don't think this is a solution for our industry. So this brings us up to the one that we would highly recommend as a solution and that PaymentVision itself offers here today. So this differs from the first two because this is going to be automatic, no delay. You don't have to worry about the customer getting back to you or the RFI responding. You have a huge pool of information to pull from. These verifications, like I said, they can be real time, same day, next day, just depending on how you want to set this up. PaymentVision itself, we utilize the real-time functionality. As we're taking payments, we want to make sure you're getting those payments. And as I said too, this actually looks at a large pool of information. So those other methods may say, hey, that account's, that account's there. It's a valid account. But we actually look at information as in NSF. So if this account has had 10 different NSF hits, we let you know that. That way, take that into consideration. That account is not in good standing. If there's been history of fraud, abuse, a lot of chargebacks, returns, and everything they're going through because of counterfeiting, et cetera, you're going to get that information is going to be pulled together, and that will actually come to the whatever result you get with the third-party validation as an accept or deny.
Real quick, this is Ryan from the moderator side. Could you talk a little bit about the industries and how the industries are affected by this rule change and what they should be thinking about with the different options available to them?
Absolutely. Well, like I said, we've already looked at 2 extensions of this rule to be put in place because this is not something you can do off the cuff. Possibly the first 2 solutions I talked about wouldn't require too much integration per se because you're getting on the, you're sending out things, you're waiting on customers to call you back. But the third-party verification services, you need to make sure that this is part of your payment portal, that there's something in place that's validating this before you send it through. The third-party banks that are actually working with you to send these ACHs, they need to confirm that you're in compliance with this rule. It's the same thing as the NACHA return rates that I'm sure everybody's heard of. NACHA is really coming today. NACHA has enforced rules more so today than they ever have. We're hearing that in the industry that if somebody goes through a 60-day time frame with over a 0.5% unauthorized returns, not just sending the bank a letter saying you need to do something, you're responsible for this merchant, you're going to be held responsible. So they're going to have this same type of enforcement on here. So not just going to say to these banks, like, how do you know that your clients are compliant? You as the merchant that relies on these banks to actually accept payments, you need to have proof of that. And you need to work with your payment processor to ensure that's there.
Thank you. We also got a question from the audience looking for clarification on what check kiting is.
On check kiting. So that would just be a type of fraud on it. I'll have to go on that particularly. Let me go where we mentioned that. Check kiting.
Definitely heard the term.
I know, and I'm drawing a blank just because it's just another, the float of non-existent checks. It's exactly what it says. It's just that, check floating, fake checks. So if that account has a history of fake checks hitting that account, that floats for a couple of days and then hits in the 3rd day, so that's exactly what it is. It's just different types of frauds that people actually have put on their account. The paper hanging, a couple of days.
So with
right,
check
so then we would block.
Go ahead, Rob.
Yeah, I was just going to say then we would advise our client to then block that consumer from making payments through that channel.
Yeah, you're just taking advantage of the float period that's involved.
And the problem here is potentially taking a paper check and running it through EACH, right? And going over the ACH network, knowing now that you have this fake account on a check, you can catch it before it goes through the system.
Correct. If that account has a history of putting checks out there and then moving funds, so those checks come back as NSF, you kind of want to know that, when people are taking advantage of those float periods. And that's the thing that is taken into consideration when an account is looked at as approved or denied with these third-party verification services. Now, there's not many of these third-party verification services out there for the very fact that this is actually from financial institutions. So you do have a limited pool of vendors you can get this from because these are the ones that the banks themselves are having to authorize because these banks are the ones providing this information. So there is some good news to this rule, and some things of the particulars that we didn't necessarily point out at the beginning is this only relates to web transactions. I mean, that's, again, where we're seeing the fraud. It's online. People can get online and do it. You don't have that face-to-face interaction. And it only applies when an account number is first used. So when you have a recurring schedule, once you've actually processed the account using account verification, you're not going to have to do it each and every time. And it doesn't go retroactive too. So going on March, all the accounts you have in place now in recurring schedules, you don't have to go back and hit account verification. These are just new accounts. And then if any changes happen to those accounts, then yes, you would have that. But so it is actually, they put it in a way that is commercially reasonable how they're requiring it. You're not going to get an undue burden because of this new rule. It'll just be going forward.
Yep, and now I'll speak to a little bit more about some of the PaymentVision solutions. So for our risk management solutions, as Lori mentioned, we have account verification that helps check, determine if the account is in good standing or a valid account for ACH payments. And this also will help reduce ACH returns, as Lori mentioned. Once we see multitude of ACH returns, then we can advise you to stop having that consumer make payments through ACH. And then we also have a cloud-based risk library that helps risk management and payment processing be applied to all payments based on specific payment types.
And I do want to mention here that this is not a service that we've actually put out there to comply with this rule. This is a service that we've had in place for many years. We are one of the, like I said, there's a limited amount of vendors that offer this, and we are happy to say that our Lines division does, and we're able to incorporate that easily within our PaymentVision portal. This is something that we've actually recommended to a lot of our clients for the idea of reducing ACH returns, not to just comply with the rule, but if someone's having an issue that, they're administratively, these accounts are coming back bad, they're NSF, et cetera. Well, the easiest way to reduce that is to actually make sure that account's in good standing before you send that. And so we push that out there. We have some cases where up to 50% is easily seen within just a couple of months of using the product.
Real quick, we had a question from the group in our prior section, and they were asking, does this rule apply to installment loan drafts or installment payments made online?
Yes. Any payment made via ACH online, this rule is going to be in place for consumer payments. Awesome. So business payments is a different type of scenario, but any of these lenders, I look at PaymentVision's industries and knowing what we do, we collect payments, a lot of times on loans, a lot of times on collections and things. All of those will fall under this rule if you're accepting ACH payments.
And then the other thing that's probably important to highlight is we got a question, are we a NACHA approved vendor? And we are a NACHA approved vendor.
We are NACHA preferred.
NACHA preferred.
Even better. Right. Yeah.
Awesome.
So we've mentioned account verification a few times. One of the biggest benefits of it is when you accept a paper check or process an ACH payment, we're giving you the ability to limit the risk associated with these type of transactions. We're helping you identify what someone could be looked at as potentially risky, decrease returns, and then also help maintain NACHA requirements so you maintain the compliance through the reasonable screening of our services.
Yeah, again, this is a service that we've offered for a long time, and it's nice now to kind of have the marketing of, hey, you need to comply with the rule, you need to use us. But this is something that Rob has sold many, many times before with the idea that it does a lot more than just comply with the rule. There's a reason that it's being pushed on as a rule.
What distinguishes PaymentVision from the others? We really pride ourselves in our customer service. We have a team that's been with us in the Gaithersburg office, some as many as 20 years. We have instant automated 24/7 availability. If you call us, if you email us, we're going to return those calls in a timely manner. We're also going to always help you identify any risky clients. And, for instance, we get a file sent from our sponsor banks every day where they ask us, is this a legitimate transaction? We verify with the merchant, and then that helps you as well as us minimize risk. we also help quickly identify miskeyed accounts. We have a risk team that does that. This will help decrease returns up to 50% based on some of the data we've collected. We're going to help you maintain NACHA compliance, and then we're also going to accelerate your check and ACH funding times.
Yeah, we do a lot to ensure that you guys get to keep those payments that you're trying to collect. It helps. We want you guys to do well, so we do well when you do well.
It's a win-win.
Yeah. So we want to make sure you can take the payments, and we want to provide those solutions. Make that happen.
So some of the services PaymentVision offers, we offer a multitude of services, but some of the ones we're proud of are bundled solutions. We're able to offer a bundled solution package that all goes from gateway to payment processing to an IVR solution to all the other different solutions we're going to talk about in the upcoming slides through a very cost competitive manner. We also offer, which is unique, a flexible settlement option. You're able to bring your own processor or bank, and we just act as the gateway solution to your integrated software partner. And then again, the risk management solutions to help manage payment and credit services. So here we are, payment processing, what we do best. We process credit and debit cards. We also have the ability to offer, very cost-effective pricing through an interchange price model. We also offer flat rate pricing as well as a convenience fee model that helps. We charge a fee to help offset merchant fees to you, our client. As mentioned earlier, and a good bit, ACH processing. We handle paper check processing through a check scanner. We also have cash payments where you can walk into a retail establishment like a Walmart, a CVS, a Walgreens, make a cash payment, and it's automatically shown in the system that the payment's made for whatever service they're paying for. We are NACHA compliant. I think Lori said we're preferred.
Preferred.
Very impressive. PCI DSS level 1 certified. We have a SOC 2 type 2 certification, and then we're also ADA compliant.
And real quick, we got another question, clarification on the way we leverage account verification services. Is this solution available independent of the ability to process payments, or do you have to also process payment with us to have this capability?
Yes, and that actually we would refer that to our other division. So Lions Commercial Data is a second division of AutoScribe. We are one company, but we kind of segregate ourselves to two divisions because Lions is able to offer this independent of the payment process portal that PaymentVision offers. So if somebody has something already established that they don't need, and they're not in need of a merchant processing or ACH relationship or the many, many things that PaymentVision offers, which I'm sure they'll probably convince you by the time you're done with the call that you do, we do offer this independently as well.
Thank you.
And so here are some of the channels and gateway solutions PaymentVision has to offer. We offer an integrated payment option through our Pay API. You have a specific software partner, we're probably integrated with them. So we offer the Pay API solution. Pay Agent is when someone calls in and speaks to one of your dedicated collection agents, and then they put the payment in through the virtual terminal. Pay IVR in English and Spanish. We offer the ability 24/7, 365 days a week to allow your consumer to call an 800 number, make a payment without speaking and using up any one of your valuable employees' time, and making a payment through our IVR. Pay Web, which is what we've highlighted a lot today, is the online payment of credit, debit, and ACH. Pay by text, which was rolled out earlier this year, we have the ability to send payment reminders, payment notifications. People can actually make payments through a text message. Walk-in payments, that's what I mentioned earlier about the cash walk-in payments. We have over 60,000 locations where people can walk in and make a cash payment. We have a PV mobile app. This app can be downloaded in both Google and Apple. It is custom branded to your business, and people can download this and make a payment through our app, which essentially is your app that's branded. And then pay by kiosk. We have the ability to sell or lease you a kiosk that allows someone to come make a payment via check or cash at a kiosk 24/7, 365 days a week, where you may not want someone walking into your establishment, your business, and making a payment. So we'll put a kiosk there instead where they make the payment there.
Yeah, a lot of these are self-service channels, which I keep saying COVID, but I know everybody thinks COVID all the time, which means, no face-to-face, which is what you want nowadays. You need to have those solutions for those people that are not able to make it in the store and to do things. You need to have these types of things available in a fashion that accommodates everybody. The pay agent, you need to have somebody there to be able to talk to somebody. Pay by text for those people that only want to do anything on their phones. These are the options that you need really today to be successful.
Yeah, we've heard, because of COVID and some people having to work from home, and you might not be able to make outbound phone calls. We've had a lot of people ask for pay by text, the mobile app, and then cash walk-in payments at other businesses other than your own to collect these payments, as well as IVR, something we've had for a long time.
And it also keeps you PCI compliant. You're not having that agent take that credit card number with the chance of them writing it down. The idea that people are working from home, if there's somebody else in the room when they're taking their credit card information, that's been a concern that's been expressed lately, that people kind of predict to see some kind of litigation around eventually. So these self-service options are definitely something that if you don't have in place, you need to consider.
Absolutely.
In addition, there's a question about the app. Is it white labeled or could they custom brand it?
Yes, you absolutely can custom brand it. So if you do business with us, if you're ABC collections, then you absolutely, in the Google and Apple stores, it'll say ABC collections. So it look exactly like your own app.
Yeah, I think that's a critical difference when you look at the way we designed our app product versus competitors in the market. It is a white label solution, but it is completely branded your app. You don't have to go into a PaymentVision app, select a drop down and find your name or anything like that. It is your solution, your branding, your color scheme. The end user will only know it as yours, as your company's app. So that's huge. And then there was an administrative question that came in asking if there are copies of this presentation available. So I just want to make it known to those that are on the line. I did download the presentation in the handout section. So where you're able to answer questions on the right-hand nav, there's a handout section. And if you open up there, there's a document saved, and that is the presentation from today's brief. All right, let me go ahead and move it forward. Thank you, guys.
So we have some additional services we didn't mention on the prior slide. PV check deposit. This allows you to take a paper check that's mailed in, and we have a scanner that we could sell to you where you scan the check, it captures it, and then it deposits it into your bank account. This obviously helps reduce operational costs and any human error that may happen with paper checks. Resolve My Bill. This is an online debt negotiation product that we have that allows the consumer to, instead of haggle or try to banter and negotiate with one of your agents for 45 minutes to an hour, this allows this person to go on to a website and negotiate basically with the parameters you set forth with us. So you give us the low end and the high end you want to settle for, and it'll give them options. And this will allow you to collect payments without using your collector's valuable time. PV Starter Interrupt. This is a device that helps, we'll say, stop the car if someone isn't on time with their payment. So if you tell us that if they're more than 3 weeks late, we can actually turn that car off.
Not while they're driving.
not while they're driving, right. but it doesn't allow them to start the car, or, once they park it, they can't start it back up. And then it's amazing how quickly they make that payment, and we can turn it right back on for them. And then something coming in the future, PV instant disbursements. We'll be able to do ACH disbursements from you to your client.
All right, thank you very much, Rob.
Sure.
So with that, we did a really good job of answering questions for the group as they came in. Any closing thoughts? We're only about 30 minutes into it, so that was good. That was right on time from our perspective, and we left some time available for any additional questions or comments to come in. So please take a few minutes, and we'll look for any additional ones. Any closing thoughts from Lori or Rob?
Yeah, I want to mention again, if you've not heard anybody mention this to you yet, your payment processor hasn't provided information on how they're going to actually solve for this requirement, or if you're working directly with your banks and they actually haven't mentioned this to you, don't allow that to think that they won't be requiring compliance. Because like I said, NACHA has actually been more active in enforcing their rules more so than ever right now. And when you look at what a bank could be looking at if they are found to be non-compliant, the fines go, looking at some $100,000 per month until you get it compliant, if they're not able to kind of prove something, or that somebody doesn't have something there. So I don't think that you'd want to risk the bank turning off your relationship that quick, because I think that's the risk you're really looking at, because why would a bank want to continue servicing for somebody that puts them at that risk? So you really, if it hasn't been mentioned to you before, don't allow yourself to think that means it's not important and it won't affect you. If you're taking ACH payments and taking them via web, you must have something in place to meet this requirement.
Another thing that wasn't mentioned on the slide is, we've, over the last 2 years, we've reached out to clients and prospects and asked them, what are you looking for? And a lot of them told us, we're looking for the mobile app that's customized, pay by text. They want the ability to take payments and not use their collector's time. So we built these products because we listened to what our clients and our prospects are telling us. And then once you are a client, we do have a relationship management team of Ron and Michelle. And one of their duties is to find out what you're looking forward to technology-wise in the future. And then we as a team, talk about it and slot that into our roadmap. Like we heard that account updater is something that a lot of people want. So first quarter of next year, we're going to have that product and service ready to go because we listen to our clients and prospects.
While providing all in a compliant manner.
Even better.
All right, and then the biggest note I take from this is we both have clients and prospects on the call, and we did have a lot of interest from both parties. So we will do some follow-up with you guys. I do have your names from the question queue, and also if you put any comments, or will be a survey after this session, just put a comment there that you want us to follow up, but we'll definitely be proactively following up with everyone on the call to make sure that you have the right solutions to maintain compliance going into 2021.
Absolutely. And if there are no more questions, we'd like to thank you, whether it's your morning or your afternoon. We know your time is valuable. So we really appreciate you coming to this webinar. We'll have others in the future. As you can see, here's our 3 offices, Jacksonville, Gaithersburg, and Fort Lauderdale. Information is there on the screen. But again, thank you very much for your valuable time, your great questions, and we look forward to speaking to you guys in the future. Thank you again.
Absolutely. Thank you.